Okay, so today we are going to cover Azure core services, and it is actually our third session. So today we will learn about virtual machines and scale sets. We'll see what are app services, both web and API apps. Then container instances, Kubernetes service on Azure, Azure functions, Azure storage accounts, Azure Cosmos DB, and a few other things also. And what did we already cover? So we covered history of cloud computing, starting from bare metal, server virtualization, containers, container orchestration, all those things which are outside of Azure, which is general to all clouds, and even road to cloud and beyond, data centers to cloud and even to serverless, advantages of cloud computing, effect of capex and opex, features of cloud, high availability, scalability, difference between scale out and scale up, elasticity, fault tolerance, disaster recovery, low latency, and cloud abstractions such as IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, multi-pass, serverless, cloud deployment models such as public, private, hybrid, and even we saw AZ 900 topics and how to prepare and all those things. Again, in the second session, we learned different ways to interact with Azure, such as Portal, CLI, PowerShell, Cloud Shell, and then regions, paid regions, availability zones, and also recommended region, alternative or other region, regional service, and non-regional service, and again foundational service, mainstream service, specialized service, resource groups, resource provider, Azure resource manager template, and even Azure marketplace. And in the end, we will also see our new Cloud Master learning plan to clear 8 Azure certifications. I've made few changes from last week, and again how to participate in real world projects or mock interviews, and also news about some of our other initiatives. Again, I have cleaned up the agenda style a bit. So we will know about your teacher, that is me. The reason is because you need to know and believe in your teacher to learn something from him. It is not to tell that I am great or anything. You just need to believe. So because many people say, okay, some course is there, some course is there, and all those things in our group. But if you need to learn from somebody, you need to know whom you are learning from, and then you need to create that association. So that is more important. You can learn from anybody, you can learn from any video tutorial, but once you have that association, it is always good to have. Okay, and then announcements and the thought of the week as usual. And today we will learn about Azure virtual machines and storage and a bit more around those areas. And also we'll have our quiz championship and then career talk and initiatives. And know your teacher. The more you know about your teacher and his abilities, the better you will learn from him. And before that, let me quickly check if there are any questions. Okay, so yeah, all career related questions I'll surely take up towards the end, so you can post it. So that is the idea. So we will not just learn tech, and after every session I will try to stay back and then answer all your career related questions, and then where to go forward and everything else that I can answer. Okay, I'm assuming I am still audible and you can see my video and PPT, everything, right? At least one yes, and then we will continue. Okay, thank you. Okay, so again, in the first session I have explained all these things in detail, so I'll just run through it. So I am an author, architect and tech evangelist. I have few master's degrees, few certifications, and I've worked in some important companies, and I have taught thousands of students through CloudX and JavaJ.com, which are my blogs, and I have written few books, and then I am writing another one as we speak, and one of my book have become 8th on best cloud computing books of all time by a research by Book Authority. And I speak in meetups and conferences. I used to speak before this lockdown, and yeah, now I don't know when I'll get a chance to speak to real people, and until then I'll have to leave with webinars such as these. I have given a couple of webinars in last 2 months. One for all engineering students in a state called Kerala in India. So actually students who are part of the IEEE section of Kerala. And then I have also given one for engineering colleges in Chennai, which was organized by Loyola College Chennai. And this is my library. This used to be my background when I used to take sessions earlier before lockdown and before I came to my native. And I read a lot and lot. So this is very important because many people ask me why I teach for free, and also some people have pinged in group also whether there is a catch, what is the catch, and all those things. So my teaching goal is to teach at least 100,000 students by end of this year. I know now it is a long way to go, and also I am working currently and getting paid. I also get royalties for my book, so I don't have to earn from these sessions, and I believe in giving back something to the society. And every time I share, people come to me, people talk to me, I make new friends, and so that is the value add I am getting from all these things. Okay, so now coming to announcements and thought of the week. So this is a disclaimer. This is a certification preparation crash course. So we may not go deep on all topics. Most of the doubts will, however, be answered live or offline. We will also deep dive on some of the topics in upcoming courses specific to some areas. You can see our learning plan towards the end of today's session, and you can also ask doubts through Facebook groups or buddy cult groups. And again, so practicing and labs are not part of this course, but if you are interested, I can share you more details and then do practice. So to get above that 950 mark, you need to also practice so that you will not have any confusion. Okay, I have prepared some lab notes where you can just follow it and easily practice it. I have uploaded some of the ones already for few things that we will discuss today, like app services and even storage accounts. I have just completed preparing, and I will upload it immediately after the session, or if we take a break during the session, I will upload it by that time. Okay, and you have the webinar Q&A where others can upvote and all, where you have webinar chat. I would like to tell you that whenever you send a message, select all participants. Don't just send to panelists. And if anybody else know the answer for the same, you can also help out. You don't have to wait until I go and check the messages, because I believe in building a community that can collaborate with each other and then learn together, rather than a one-man show or one person sharing something and others just listening, just like watching a movie. And occasionally we'll have webinar polls, and also the most important part, which is our quiz and talk part, where we will have a quiz with sample questions for the exam, and we will also discuss theory and doubts alongside those live quizzes. So that actually makes things more interesting and more interactive also. Okay, thought of the week: the more knowledge you acquire and the greater skill that you apply, the more competent and valuable you become. Okay, this is from a book called No Excuses by Brian Tracy. Okay, always try to learn more, improve your knowledge, and get better on what you do. Because I have heard people telling, okay, COVID is there, people are losing jobs, what will happen to me? Or people telling, okay, once I learn something and become good, once I become an expert, will I get a job? Okay, but look around and see how many of you whom you know who is good in tech. Okay, who is good in tech, who is good in uh, communicating what he knows, are there without a job. Because if you learn well, if you know things, and if you are comfortable speaking it out, you always have lots of opportunities. Okay, Azure Core Services. Again, one more extra disclaimer. So today's session and even some of the upcoming sessions, there will be a lot of theory. So you may have to read it again. You might have to by heart few things, and you may have to practice the questions also more than once, because the fundamentals exam is mostly about making sure you know what is there in Azure and then the most important features and functionality. The exam does not expect you to do labs, but as I mentioned, if you follow the labs that I am preparing for you, it will definitely help you to remember more than you just see from these videos. Okay, and you always have the option to ask me doubts. Okay, what are virtual machines? We learned about virtual machines from a general engineering perspective in our first class. Again, if you don't remember, it is a infrastructure as a service solution in Azure. And if you have missed those first classes, see the recordings, and if you are still not able to understand it, just let me know. And if I have at least 10 people, then I can take a recession, because 10 people is because the queues will only look good if I have at least 10 people. Okay, the live queues, and that is a integral part of all my sessions. Okay, we can create Linux and Windows virtual machines. One doubt that most people have, because Azure is from Microsoft and Microsoft is the owner of Windows, so you can create Linux and Windows virtual machines. Otherwise, no cloud provider can stay relevant these days. And also you can deploy our own virtual machine images and even download images from Azure Marketplace. So some of the some images may be pre-configured for a particular use case, and then it will be available in Azure Marketplace. As we saw in last day's class, Azure Marketplace is where Microsoft or even Microsoft partners can share things for us to buy with a price, or some of them might be free also. And again, we can scale virtual machines. So that is the basic feature of cloud, right? Scalability. So we can scale virtual machines to thousands of instances in minutes. And for virtual machines, we use something called as scale sets. So if you are coming from other cloud providers such as Amazon, it is usually referred to as auto scaling, and pricing is calculated hourly. So again, another thing that is common for clouds. So you don't have to buy things and increase your capex, but you can use it for hourly. But that said, you have options to reserve it. Okay, I might not have mentioned it in the slides, but you have option to reserve it for 1 year or 3 year and all. And once you reserve it, you will get maximum discounts. Okay, so this reservation can also come as a question in your exam. So when you reserve for 3 years, you get maximum discount. When you reserve for 1 year, you get discount better than hourly. Okay, always reservations will give you better discounts than paying hourly. Okay, and so there are many virtual machine series that is available. You don't have to buy hard, just know that these series are available: A series, B series, D, D, C, E, F, G, H. And once you go into 104 or higher certifications, then you might have to learn all these things in depth. And so few important things. So one is most of these VMs are charged per the hours you use, but there are also few exceptions, like the BS series, where you have this economical burstable VMs, burstable feature where so suddenly if you need it will help you use more resources, and then you only pay for the extra resources that you use. Okay, all these things you can Google up and then read more and more, because in no video course can actually cover everything, but based on your interest, based on the time available, read more and more about all these things, and that is how you learn and become better, and you will be ready not just for the certification, but you will be ready for the job. Okay, and we have LS, M, MV2, N series, and many things. Okay, and a few examples, like we said, the A series is the basic ones that you can get started with. Cost will be also reasonable, and B series, as we so it allows for a flexible CPU usage, and you can use the burst feature to give you extra power when it is needed. Okay, scale sets, as I mentioned, you can configure how much your scale out. Okay, so I hope you remember about scale up and scale out, right? Scale up means you have a virtual machine or you have a computer, and then you are replacing it with something more powerful. With forget about virtual machines. Imagine that you have a computer in your home, and you are upgrading its RAM, or upgrading its hard disk, or upgrading something of that same computer. So that is called as scale up. Scale out means you have a computer and you add more and more computers of same configuration to handle the request. So most of the cloud providers support scale out, and for virtual machines, scale sets are a way to implement scale out. Okay, so you can mention what should be my minimum number of virtual machines to start with, until how much it should scale, and all those things you can configure with scale sets. And so this is a easy way to have a lot of virtual machines as required instantaneously without actually going to create one by one. Okay, and usually people get confused. Okay, so scale sets, usually people get confused with resource manager templates that we saw in last week. So this is for scaling virtual machines on demand. Okay, the resource management templates are for provisioning resources. Okay, it is a JSON script that you can it is a declarative script where you can mention about the provisioning details, and it will be provisioned. But this is a different thing. So this is for automatically scaling based on demand increase or even demand decrease. Azure container instances, we learned what are containers. So here with container instances, what we can do, so these are containers on cloud, on Azure cloud. So you don't have to manage all those container running and all those things. So Azure will take care of everything for you. And some of the advantages of it are it provides a hypervisor isolation, which means that two people working on two containers within a same platform, within a same virtual machine or platform, because in cloud, unless you are using a dedicated server, you will be sharing resources with other people, and so that is called as virtualization. And we also learned what is a hypervisor in our first class. Hypervisor is a tool that allows you to run multiple virtual machines on a single bare metal. Okay, so you will get that isolation, so that somebody else working on the same bare metal cannot access your resources. So don't worry about it. And again, if you want more isolation for security concerns, like governments do, then you can go for dedicated instances. Okay, and what can we can do elastic bursting of AKS with ACI. So that is another configuration that you can explore once you go into higher levels. So all these things theoretically know how to do, you can explore, or you can wait until the next course, because if you Microsoft doesn't expect you to learn more than theory for these exams, but personally I believe you need to do a little bit of lab, so that you will better understand these things than understanding only from theory. So that is why I provide one or two lab material with every session. So today's lab material I will upload it in sometime after our class, and then do ask doubts. Okay, and then we can combine ACI with logic apps, or Azure queues, Azure functions, and all those things. So that is why, because the containers such as Docker or Kubernetes service are all available on-premise, on other public clouds. The value comes with other services that are specific to the cloud provider, and how these services can interact with those other cloud provider specific services. So the value does not come with only one product. Value comes with a solution that is that can be built along with all the services that are available open, that are available from the cloud provider. Combining everything and making it a solution actually makes more sense. Okay, so read more about these things. Again, Kubernetes also, it is a tool for managing containers, and Azure, like other cloud providers, also provide Kubernetes as a service on Azure. Okay, so we cannot learn what is Kubernetes here. We have touched upon it a brief earlier. Again, one thing, okay, just I'll take it as an opportunity to explain one thing. So people were asking, okay, I am from a storage background, how can I get better on cloud? So will my experience count? Or I am from developer background, how my experience I can convert it into cloud. So cloud is nothing but you can consider it as a hotel or a rendered complex. Okay, so if you know Kubernetes already on premise, you can use that knowledge here. But if you do not know Kubernetes on premise, you have to learn that first, either directly on cloud or off the cloud, and then use this service. Because cloud is just providing you services that are available otherwise also for a in a pay-per use model, and then with all those features that we saw, like scalability and all those things, right? So that is all about cloud. It is not inventing anything new with respect to technologies, but so certain things cloud providers also innovate. Like Amazon has DynamoDB, which is their own, and Azure has Cosmos DB, which is their own. So they will also innovate and fight to be the better cloud provider, because you have lots of competitions around. Azure Functions also, we saw it is a serverless thing on cloud, and serverless is something which is very close to me, because my first book was on serverless computing, and even though majority of the things were on AWS, I had a chapter for other clouds, and then there I was explaining about Azure Functions also and how to use it. Okay, so serverless is generally referred to as function as a service, because you focus on only writing the functions. Everything else, including runtime, everything will be taken care by Amazon or Azure or Google or whatever cloud provider runs these things. And most importantly, it only runs when you need it. So that means you have a function. Even with virtual machines, when you are building a website with virtual machines, the virtual machines have to run always. So even if it is hourly, you will still need to pay for all the hours of a month, right? So you cannot say that, okay, I will shut down my website during night, because in today's world there is no night. So my night might be morning for somebody else. Okay, so you cannot shut down those things. But when you use something such as serverless, and in Azure it is called Azure Functions, what you get is the benefit of paying only when it is needed, or in other words, only when it is used. it improves resilience, and even if one function fails, all the other functions can still run. So if you are, imagine that you have a monolithic application, and if things go wrong with your monolithic application, the whole application might get shut down. Okay, Azure App Service, it is a PaaS solution in Azure. Okay, so what is PaaS? Can just to make sure you are not sleeping. What is PaaS? Okay, Platform as a Service. With infrastructure as a service, we had to manage the operating system, and we had to do a lot of other bookkeeping things, and we have to actually own any responsibilities related to security of that virtual machine. Cloud provider will only take care of security of the physical things in infrastructure as a service. But with PaaS, all those things are again abstracted away, and we can focus on building our applications. Okay, so it is a fully managed platform, and you can build your web applications or API apps. Okay, and before going to API, so how many of you know what is a API? Okay, application programming interface. And I am telling these things because these may not be specific to clouds, but whatever terms you don't know, you should note it down and read, and if you are not able to understand, you can always ask me. And again, how many of you know about Rust? It is, I am not asking about the rest you are taking while you are sleeping or relaxing. REST, representational state transfer, REST API. Okay, if you don't know, again you will have to read about it, because in past we had SOAP services, and later things became more and more easier, and so we have something called REST, which is not a rule like SOAP in the past. It is a guideline. Okay, yeah, so yeah, more and more things, because we can all this will be only effective if everybody share their knowledge from their work, because somebody might have a little bit of work experience on certain areas, somebody might have more experience, and they are attending this only to get certified. So those people don't watch it as TV. So whatever knowledge you have, share it across with others, so that we can all learn together. Every time I take a session, I learn something from the audience. Okay, so don't think that I know everything, and don't think that you know everything, even if you are certified. So everybody can learn something from everybody else. Okay, so Azure App Service is a platform as a service solution, which means your platform is fully managed by your cloud provider. It has support for various languages such as .NET, .NET Core, Node.js, Java, Python, PHP, and all those things. And you can either run the code directly, or you can use containers. I have put across most of these things in the lab notes I'll be sharing today. And it has a built-in CI/CD integration and zero downtime deployments. And how many of you know about CI/CD? Okay, so yeah, CI/CD, yes, no. Okay, so CI/CD means continuous integration and continuous deployment. CD may be referred to as continuous development or continuous deployment. So it basically means all your code can go to production anytime. Okay, once you check in your code, immediately it is integrated, automatically tested, and it will be ready to go to product at any ready to go to production at any point of time, and at the click of a button it will reach production. Okay, this is in against all practices where we have to move things from one environment to another environment, all those things manually. So if you are looking for a DevOps role or DevOps job, this is very important. And in our DevOps session, we will explore more about these things. Okay, so that is why cloud is nothing without all the technologies or engineering concepts that surrounds it, or that the cloud provides us. Okay, so don't think that learning cloud is difficult. Learning cloud is nothing as long as you know all the concepts. So that is where we will be focusing on our further courses. Wherever we learn about DevOps, we will learn about CI/CD in depth, unlike any other courses that you see on cloud, and that is optional for you, because I believe that you need to learn the engineering concepts before you actually learn about cloud. So those sessions will be optional for you. If you want to learn just cloud and get certified, you are free to do that also. And similarly, when we learn about security and networking, we'll learn about IP addresses. Okay, so how many of you know here about IP addresses, like in depth? So you know that so you have seen something like a /24 /32 and all after IP address when you are configuring a few things, right? How many of you know what is that /24 or subnetting mask? So yeah, range. So those things are so we will learn about subnet and all in our security session a bit, but in the security course that is coming up, we will learn all these things, networking and security things in depth. Okay, because that is one of my expert areas, because I have written a whole book close to 500 pages on cloud security. So I had to do a lot of research on those areas, and whenever I talk about these things, people were all confused about that subnetting. So /24 and /32 and all those things, they were confused. So let me know whether /24 or /16, which is bigger. Okay, yeah, people have mentioned /16. So those kind of things, there are many people who does not know about those things, right? So I'll be taking a session for that. So those will be extra sessions, and then only people who want to learn can attend it. So, and that will be common for my AWS and Azure track. And Azure Web Apps, I think initially there were different entry points for these things, but now with Azure Apps, as you will see in the lab, which was done yesterday, okay, which was screenshotted yesterday, so that you can all get in from one place, okay, through Azure App Service. Then you create a web app, and then you can create. So Azure has this concept of storage accounts, and whenever you create a storage account, you create a unique name for the storage account. Again, there is a lab for storage account also that you can practice. So then you will understand all these things in much more depth. Okay, and whatever name you give should be unique. Okay, it should be unique, so that if I have in my lab notes, I have used Cloudrix as my storage account namespace name, and it should be unique across all. So now you won't be able to take it. Okay, so you can take one when it is available, and then that will be your namespace, and then all your resources will be resource URLs will be based on that. Okay, so it will be unique across all Azure accounts. And then you have different types like blobs, files, queues, tables, and this, and you can explore more about it. And so one more suggestion, so I may not have covered everything here, but pick up one small topic from this, maybe a 5-minute or a 10-minute session. If you can prepare and share, it will be great to check your understanding, to check your communication skills, and I will give you feedback also. Okay, so that is how you learn, and so that is how you grow. Again, it is durable and highly available, secure and massively scalable, and all data in your storage account is encrypted on the server side. Okay, so you have security, you have durability. So you can also get this durability on premise, but what will you need to do? You will need to have many servers that is not used just for having all these extra features. And important ones, blob. So blob stands for binary large object. Okay, there is a spelling mistake which I will correct later. Okay, you have different types of block. You have a block, you have append, you have page. Again, so these numbers are not important, but you have to explore its use case. When you will use a block, when you will use append, when you will use a page. So I'm also giving certain pointers, and then you can explore more. The more you explore, the better you will become. Okay, and whatever you explore, you share in the group or share with me if you have any doubts while you explore. And again, different pricing tiers: hot, cool, archive. Hot and cool, you will get the option when you create itself. Okay, archive is a different tier altogether. So hot means what? So hot means it is generally frequently accessed data, and it has the lowest possible access time, but it will also have highest cost imaginable. And cool means you will have slightly higher access time than hot, but costs are lower, and you also currently have a 30-day retention time for cool tier. And you also have archive, where it has the highest access time, but it also has the lowest cost. You can have backups for compliance reasons, because sometimes you might have to store some data for 3 years, 5 years, or 7 years, or even more, because of some compliance reasons. Might be market compliance reasons, or location compliance reasons, can be anything. So all those data you can store in archive, so that it will save a lot of cost for you. And again, disk storage, you have different types. So disk storage means here everything will be managed by Azure, which means you will have SLAs. Okay, we will see more about SLAs and support plans and all those things when we learn about pricing, which is also a module in our certification preparation. Again, the types: HDD is our normal hard disk, and standard SSD. You have premium SSD, and even you have ultra disk. Okay, so there is an assignment in these 2 pages. Okay, before next class I will update these things, but I purposefully omitted it. Okay, so you need to find out some use cases, because whenever you, so one important thing I want to tell you is, whenever you Google something for say whenever I am googling something for ABC, I am not only learning about ABC, I am actually learning a lot around ABC. Okay, so if I put here what this page is used for, you will by heart it, you will learn for your exam, you might get a good score also, but you will not learn everything around that, and then you will not be ready for the job. Okay, so these are 2 things. So this page, blob storage, what will you use these types for? Block, append, and page. And also, when will you use an HDD or a standard SSD or a premium SSD or a ultra disk? Okay, these 2 you will have to find out, and you will have to share with me. Okay, so the more you share assignments, the more I will be familiar with you. Then we can have even one-to-one calls, so that we can learn better about each other and help each other. Okay, file storage, it is again fully managed, so you can use it to either supplement your on-premises storage, or even replace it completely with on-premises storage. Okay, you can do any of these options. And the archival one, so we already saw it has highest access times and lowest cost. It is durable, encrypted, and stable. It is a type of blob storage, as we also saw it in under blob. And the advantage is, whatever tools you use for blob, you can use it here also, and can be used for a long-term retention purpose. Example, complaints. Okay, so when you do the lab by following the documents, I have put this screenshot also, you can see that you have option to choose different redundancy types. Either it will be locally redundant, or zone redundant, or geo redundant, or geo zone redundant. And one important thing is to note here, in all these things Azure will make sure your data is copied at least 3 times. Okay, in the first one, this is within this primary region itself, and it does not guarantee that it will be across availability zones. In the second one, these 3 will be in different availability zones also, and so things gets changed with geo redundancy and even geo zone redundancy in a similar way. Okay, in one it is across regions but does not guarantee availability zone, and for the last one it is across regions and across availability zone. So these kind of things you can keep in mind, but you may not be checked a lot in depth on these things, but it is good to know. But few minor things might come in exam also. Again, data in Azure storage account automatically has at least 3 copies, true or false. Yeah, it is true. People are telling false. Okay, data in an Azure storage account automatically has at least 3 copies. I just mentioned that. So whether it is within the same region or whether it is within the same availability zones, all the options have at least 3 copies. Okay, so don't forget it. So you should always read the question correctly. So this question is currently data in an Azure storage account automatically has at least 3 copies. Okay, then the answer is true. But what if data in an Azure storage account automatically has at least 3 availability zones? Then the answer will be false, because when you consider LRS, it does not guarantee that. So you should read the question carefully and then you should answer it. Okay, next question. Data in Azure storage account is backed up automatically to another Azure data center. True or false? Okay, people are telling true, but is it guaranteed? Is it guaranteed that always it will be another data center? For LRS, is it guaranteed for LRS? No, right? So that is where you should read the question correctly. Okay, if you just by heart dumps and go, so say in dumps there is a question like data in an Azure account automatically has at least 3 copies, and you learn true, and you will not even read the rest. You will just answer with whatever you know. Okay, so that is where you should be careful. But if you understand and learn, and then there is no, if you learn everything, there is no harm in even going through the sample questions. Okay, again, so these are the different storage account types. You don't know to know it in depth, but you can try to read it few times. So because the questions are anyway multiple choice, so if you read it few times, you will have a familiarity with these things when you answer the questions. Okay, and then even when you practice the storage account lab, you will get some more idea. And some of the important limits. So again, so I have given the limits document in. So there are, for almost all services have limits in Azure and even in AWS and any cloud provider, and it will not be feasible to put everything here. But what you can do is you can go through the limits document. You can just search Azure limits, and then it might most probably take you to that page, and then read it a few times. Okay, don't try to by heart it, but read it few times, and since it is multiple choice questions, it will help you figure out the right answer. Okay, before going to databases, are there any doubts? Okay, so okay, so why is what is the use of having 3 copies in same data center? Okay, yeah, one thing, same data center does not means one machine. Okay, in one data, so in first class, so that is why, so that is why so sometimes pictures or labs or screenshots can help you remember things faster. in first class I have shown you a picture of a data center, right? In one data center there will be lots of machines. Okay, so even if what are the chances of one data center failing? So it can be power failure, or it can be a fire, it can be a flood, there can be many cases, but there is high chance that one machine within that data center can fail for any number of reasons. Okay, in that case having it in multiple machines within the same data center can also help. Okay, so data center does not mean one machine, it is one center with a separate set of cooling and all those things. It might be a building where you will have lots of machines. Is it clear for money and others? Okay, good. Okay, so yeah, that is why so even people, I was happy that okay, people were helping out each other, answering. So that is the only way we can learn and grow. Okay, if you do from a video course, you cannot do that. If you learn from a live webinar without interaction, you cannot do that. You have to interact with others. Okay, so don't ever think that I know everything just because I wrote few books and my books became famous. So I believe that I have a lot to learn. Okay, so and I am learning every day from every class I am taking also. Okay, we can all learn together. So Cosmos DB, which is a offering from Azure itself, which is very powerful and at the same time very costly. And you have Azure SQL, which is kind of a cloud version of your Microsoft SQL Server. And you have MySQL, PostgreSQL, and Azure also have something called as a data migration service. So Azure Cosmos DB is a very important one, and it has lot of support. Okay, and its highlight is it is globally distributed, and it is a database that supports lots of regions, and then you can add data. Okay, I actually add data to one region and it will be replicated fast to the other regions, and also you can add regions faster. Okay, so whenever questions comes with mention to this throughput or using it across multiple regions faster, so then you will get a hint that it will be Cosmos DB. And also Azure SQL, as you already know, it is Microsoft SQL Server on cloud. And the advantage of using it is if you already have a Microsoft SQL Server on premise, you can easily migrate it to the on cloud one without any trouble at all. So, and it has layers of protection, built-in controls, and intelligent threat detection. So there are a lot of features. So these features you can so whatever services you mentioned, at least go through their home page and read it once. Okay, so I shared the syllabus, right, exam syllabus. So whatever services are mentioned there, just go to its home page in Microsoft, read it once if you have time, read it twice if you have more time. So all these things will help you learn more about the service, as well as clear the exam, as well as get you ready for the job. Okay, it should not be get ready for certification, it should be ready for the job. So then if you are ready for the job, you certification things will automatically come. Okay, so how can, if somebody is ready for the job, how can he miss on a question or two in certification? Okay, and then again built-in AI and built-in high availability to maintain peak performance and durability, because all these things are done with the help of AI, so no human intervention, and SLA is up to 99.995%. So sometimes these numbers might come, the more and more you read, it will stick to your mind. And flexible and responsive serverless compute and hyperscale storage, so might come as a option in exam, and support up to 100 TB. So all those things you can learn for now theoretically, but if you do not know about any term, research it, learn more. As I mentioned, if you are searching for ABC, you are learning a lot more than ABC. whenever you are searching. And also Azure has support for open source databases such as MySQL and PostgreSQL. All of these so this one, including the previous ones we saw, are all PaaS solutions. And Postgre has also support for JSONB. Okay, it has actually good support for JSON. So if the question is about JSON support, then you might want to choose Postgre. But if the question is about JSON support with throughput and multi-region and all those things, then it can be Cosmos DB. So read question carefully, analyze it, and then answer. Data migration service, it provides easy migration from on-premise Microsoft SQL Server to Azure SQL, and it also has detailed documentation and guides for other databases also. And so Microsoft will be adding paths for migrating more and more databases easily to cloud. Not only Microsoft, all cloud providers will have a data migration service and data migration consultants, because moving so somebody moving into your cloud means you are getting a new business, and that is how you survive. Okay, here let me stop sharing for a second. So okay, so it is a quiz time, which is our most interactive and most interesting time, where we also discuss questions that have come from previous exams, or questions that can help you check your understanding. So let me stop my sharing. If you create two Azure virtual machines that use the B2S size, each virtual machine will always generate the same monthly cost. True or false? You can go to Heartin.live and answer, or you can install Polyvr, or you can type this whole thing, polyv.com/HeartinJK999. And if you are finding any issues, mention in the chat selecting all participants so that somebody can help you out. Okay, so I had mentioned, right, B2S means it is burstable. Means it is not so whenever you need, you can use more, and the cost will be based on how much you use. That is all about cloud, right? So I mentioned as an exception during that slide which we talked about different series. Okay, yeah, most of you, almost everybody answered it correctly at the same time. So now everybody are looking into time also. When an Azure virtual machine is stopped, you continue to pay storage costs associated with the virtual machine. True or false? Yeah, good to see people are now answering it faster. Okay, and for those people who are attending from Facebook Live, the video you see might be little bit delayed because of the technology that Zoom and Facebook uses to connect. But you can look into your mobile, the question, or wherever you are answering, and the question will come live. Otherwise, there is lot of space in the Zoom meeting. You can come in the Zoom meeting also and see it live in real time. Okay, yeah, so anything that you use in cloud is so you have not deleted it, right? You have just stopped it. So your storage is still there, your data is secure, so you have to pay for storage costs. It's obvious, right? Okay, a company's cloud migration plan states that only PaaS solutions should be used. You create Azure App Services and Azure SQL databases. Does this meet the goal? Okay, yeah, because as we saw, both of these are Azure App Service and Azure SQL databases are both PaaS solutions. The normal storage is sometimes considered as a IaaS solution. Again, a company's cloud migration plan states that only PaaS solutions must be used. Same scenario, you create an Azure App Service and Azure virtual machine that have Microsoft SQL Server installed. Does this meet the goal? So try to answer these questions. It is better than reading and watching. It will definitely help you in your exams and even for your understanding also, because you are interacting. Okay, so Azure virtual machines, even if you install Microsoft SQL Server on it. Okay, Microsoft SQL Server is an on-premise tool. You are installing it on your virtual machine. That means it is IaaS. Okay, whenever you see virtual machine, it is IaaS. Okay, it is not a PaaS solution. App service is there, but the question is whether the complete solution meets the goal, which is no. Instead of installing Microsoft SQL Server on virtual machine, you should have used Azure SQL, which is a PaaS solution. A company's cloud migration plan states that only PaaS solutions must be used. Again, same scenario. You create a Azure App Service and Azure Storage account. Does this meet the goal? Okay, I had mentioned it, storage account considered as IaaS, which I am still exploring. I saw in the notes, but I'm still exploring whether it is right or not. Again, so that is why I just mentioned it in last slide explicitly. Okay, can we ensure that the services running on the virtual machines are available if a single data center fails? By deploying the virtual machine to 2 or more scale sets. Sometimes for questions which I am still exploring for correctness, I say I am not an expert in everything. So I will give a clue before the question. So if you are attending it carefully, listening it carefully, you will get to know. Okay, again, what do you mean by scale sets? Scale sets means it is not a different data centers, right? So scale sets means it is a feature of Azure virtual machines where you can have more VMs whenever needed. Okay, it does not say anything about having deploying on a different data center. Okay, within that data center itself, we can scale, right? So it all depends on how you configure your scale sets. Again, try to do that lab, it will be a little more clear. You plan to deploy several Azure virtual machines. Can we ensure that the services running on the virtual machines are available if a single data center fails by deploying the virtual machines to a scale set? So previously it was multiple scale sets, so now it is a single scale set. Ideally, this question should have come before the previous one. I could have made you a little more confused. Okay, if multiple scale sets cannot make sure that a single data center fail will not affect, so how can a single scale set do it? Okay, scale set is not mapped to data centers. PaaS solution that hosts web apps in Azure provides a full control of operating system that hosts applications. True or false? Okay, it is false. Okay, PaaS means you don't have any control to operating system. It is IaaS, infrastructure as a service. So people making mistakes, don't worry, you are still learning, and if you have any doubt, you can ask me. PaaS solution that hosts web apps in Azure can be provided with additional memory by changing the pricing tier. Again, a little bit of common sense can help you answer it. And whenever you, so not for true and false, but in general for normal questions, whenever you answer in real exams, if you don't know the answer, you can go for elimination approach. So eliminate things that you know that are not the answer, and then your guess will be a little more accurate. Okay. So you can add, you can add more memory by changing the pricing tier, because one memory will not be suitable for all, and unlimited memory cannot be given for the same price. PaaS solution that hosts web apps in Azure can be configured to automatically scale the number of instances based on demand. Okay, PaaS, everything is automatic. You don't have to worry about it. Okay, but so you can configure certain things. Again, so this is a based on few things. This is again a debatable question. So one thing to understand about exams is that there might be questions which does not have a right answer, and so there might be questions that are not scored at all. Okay, most of the companies does that to confuse people who are taking up these questions and preparing dumps out of it, because they will feel that okay, I got 100%, so that means all my questions are correct, and I will prepare a dumps based on those answers. But the truth is that so some of the questions are not counted in most of the cases. So whatever answers they prepare will also not be useful. If a company's migration plan states that only PaaS solutions must be used, can we create virtual machines, SQL databases, and storage accounts? So this is a straightforward one. Okay, yeah. So whenever you see virtual machine, it is not going to be a PaaS. Azure Cosmos DB is an example of Dash offering. So even if you have not attended any question yet, try to at least answer some questions and be alive till the end. Okay, it is PaaS. Data in an Azure storage account automatically has at least 3 copies. Yeah, everybody should know the answer because we have answered it once already. True. I think this is the first time everybody answered it same for a question. So data in an Azure storage account is backed up automatically to another data center. True or false? Okay, so it is false, because no cloud provider should ideally back up or take data from one data center to another without configuring. Okay, so ideally they should not do it between regions. And even in our case, so what is the what was the storage account redundancy type that came in first? It was LRS, right? So with LRS, is it backed up to other Azure data center? No, right? So it is only within the same data center. And there can be also questions like whether cloud provider will move across regions. Across regions is not at all possible without your consent, because there can be compliance reasons. An Azure storage account can contain up to 2 terabyte of data and up to 1 million files. Okay, so not only Azure, so most of the clouds will not have any limit on the total storage or the number of files, but they will have a limit on the size of one particular file, okay, because of handling reasons. And again, read through the limits few times to get familiar with you, but you cannot by heart everything, not for this exam or for future exams. You have an Azure environment that contains 10 web apps to which URL should you connect to manage all Azure resources using the format. And so all the questions that I am getting are from you people only. So if you have some interesting questions, share it with me so that you can help each other. You can also prepare your own questions, interesting questions, challenging questions that can help others. We can only learn. Okay, it is portal.azure.com. So at least once you should practice. Which of these storage service is most suitable to store unmanaged data disks of virtual machines? Can give a try. Actually, it was one of the assignments. Again, so these are the kind of questions where you can at least use elimination. So yeah, majority of you answered it correctly. So tables and queues generally don't fit, so the confusion should be between blobs and files. You plan to map a network drive from several computers that run Windows 10 to Azure storage. What should you create for a storage solution in Azure for the planned mapped drive? Okay, again, so this was also part of your assignment. You can read more, you can explore more. You plan to implement an Azure database solution. You need to implement a database solution that meets the following requirements. Can add data concurrently from multiple regions and can store JSON documents. Which database service should you deploy? I had given the clue during the session. Okay, it is Cosmos DB. So concurrently, multiple regions. I had mentioned the clue. Again, majority of you answered it correctly. You have an on-premises application that sends email notifications automatically based on a rule. You need to recommend a serverless computing solution for applications in Azure. What should you include in your recommendation? I think I specifically did not put a slide on this, but it was part of the screenshots I prepared for lab. Okay, so somebody just remind me so that I will include it also. Okay, again, majority of you answered it correctly, but I will have, it is good to have an explicit slide. So I had this thought that I had put it because I had used in the lab. Okay, again, if you don't know, you can use trial and error. Data that is stored in archives access tier of an Azure storage account. Okay, yeah, again, so it is something which I missed in this PPT. So it is a process. If you search for Azure, it is a process called rehydration before the data can be accessed. Even so it's a bit confusing term, I know, but that is how Azure calls it. So if you Google for this thing, and then if you go to Azure documentation, you can find it. Again, I want somebody to remind me so that I will update in the PPT and the course. Okay, because if you have already prepared for the exam and then just answering the questions, so then you should have already known it. Azure virtual machines provide operating system virtualization. So I'll be updating some of the questions and answers and all those things again. Okay, so in a slightly different way. Actually, most of the questions are updated, prepared with my guidance by students who are mostly job seekers. So whenever somebody comes, okay, some of my students, whenever I come to know that okay, they have lost their job, I will let them help me train others. So, and then I will even pay them so that they can go ahead until they find another job. So again, they might make mistakes here and there, but I will usually clean up. So today I didn't get a chance to actually go through it again before putting up the cues. Okay, again true. Again I'll so these 4 questions ideally it should be put in a way that you should have all these as options, and then we can choose one. So effectively everything, all the 4 are true. Okay, I'll correct it, don't worry. So Azure Functions provide a platform for serverless code. Again, so this anyway we know, like so serverless means it is Azure Functions or Logic Apps. So Azure Functions we discussed definitely, Logic Apps we did not discuss in the session. Which service provides serverless computing in Azure? Yeah, this one you should know. Azure Functions. Okay, yeah, so this is the question that somebody, Sirisha had asked in our group. So this is an open-ended one, so we will continue discussion in the group. Okay, again majority of answered it correctly, but I want each of you to when you go back to the group, so whenever somebody asks some questions, so they want to know, okay, so they want to know why it is, so everybody can so instead of just answering the question, so they may not be testing your knowledge, they might be asking it to learn. So we can all help each other, because I always believe that a community can only survive if we help each other. We shouldn't be selfish, and everybody should believe that they don't know everything. You create a new Azure virtual machine from a tablet that runs Android operating system solution. Use the Power Apps portal. Does this meet the goal? Okay, so so did we discuss about Power Apps? So we discussed about PowerShell, we discussed about Cloud Shell. So this is Power Apps is something which is used for a different purpose altogether. So not for this purpose. So in our case, it can be. So we discussed about CLI, PowerShell, Cloud Shell, and all those things, right? So this is just to confuse you again. So remember the names, remember the terms. Conclude with our other initiatives. At cloudrix.com, we learn, we innovate, and we author. So as we discussed last week, we don't just learn a certification, we learn things around that certification. And we focus on cloud and open source, because we believe that they are the future of most of the companies because of cost, especially because of COVID. And we author books, we author blogs, we author courses. All these things you can also do. You can come, we will help you out. We won't charge you anything, so you can learn and then you can get better. Okay, so I have made few changes to our learning plan based on requests and based on feasibility. So September this month we are focusing on AZ 900, but we will start with AZ 400, but the certification we will take on October 2020 next month. But if anybody wants to take it earlier, I can help you personally. And then AZ 204 will be in November, the Azure Developer Associate, and AZ 500, which is a security one, will be on December, and AZ 400 will be in Jan, and DP 900 and DP 200 both around data will be there in Feb, and AZ 304 will be in March 2021. So this is the current plan, but if people are interested, then I can pull up something from future into the current one. So you can all share your thoughts, feedback, requests. So if there are more than 10 or 15, because as you can see more than 250 registered, and then only less than half turns up. So if there are considerable people interested, then I can always help you out, because I just want both of our times to be useful. Okay, quickly summary of other initiatives. As I mentioned, that sometimes tech is not enough, so you might learn things in your own native language. That is perfectly fine, but when you go to interviews, you need English. It is not because English is a superior language to our native language, but that is something that many people can understand, because when you work in these days, you not work within your locality, you will work with different people within India, and there is not one language that everybody within India knows, and you will also definitely have to work with people outside. And moreover, Azure is a Microsoft product, right? So what not even Azure, most of the programming languages, everything what you see, what you read is written in English. So without English and good communication, you cannot grow up. Okay, grammar is not a great thing, but again, you should be able to communicate properly, and the other person should understand it properly without any issues. So that is why we have discussion groups where you can share without fear, and then we will give feedback and all those things. We will also learn grammar, by the way, and but the tutorial is for the students, by the students. It is students like you who is building and maintaining it. All revenue goes to them. You can also join if you are a job seeker, and so whatever revenue we get, we distribute with job seekers until they get a job. So this is because I cannot help few people, but I cannot help everybody. So I am building a platform so that you can help yourselves. Again, Buddy Cult is based on many quotes by Napoleon Hill, based on the stories of Edison, Mahatma Gandhi, Ford, Carnegie, and all those people. So basically, a place without much negativity, without false people. It is similar to Facebook with all the features of Facebook, but with additionally, you can also build your courses. Okay, you can build your own courses. You can run those courses and all those things, and so I can be sure that okay, these are people who are real, who are really interested in learning, and then we will have real world projects. We work together. We will have mock interviews and all those things. And the membership, you can so once you win a quiz, you can get free access. And so I had mentioned top 10. Today we'll get it for $1, because $1 is the minimum that the platform takes, and almost all of it goes to the platform itself as fee. So that is why sometimes I put $2, because that $1, almost $1 goes to platform, and the other is for my platform which I again distribute with the students, so or to run the platform. So everything is transparent here. So since today there were some challenging questions, so I am extending that top 10 to the same thing to all, everywhere, everybody within this, everybody who has attended the quiz and stayed till the end, so they can send to support@butty tutorial and join. Okay, and everybody who have sent it last time, so it took some time, but yesterday I have made sure it was sent with the coupon to register for free. Okay, and then Trainso is little more advanced, become teachers and get paid, become bloggers and showcase your skills, become published authors and become, so this is people who can pay a little bit. Again, it is run by my parents. So again, so being a son, I have to share their initiatives also. Again, Trainso was an idea that came to my mind long time back, but I did not get time to implement it because of work and other things. I like to be free. I like not to get involved in a lot of management. But my mother, who was a college professor and got her PhD even at the age of 50, and she was into some positions within government also. So I thought let she and my father do it. So during the retirement days, so that they will get engaged. Okay, so that is about Trainso. Okay, so don't worry that, don't think that, okay, I cannot help others because I don't have that capacity. Everybody can help others in one or the other way. That is only way we can. Okay, Srinivas asks, do we need to get the enroll link for separately from Butty portal? Yeah, so once this is over, or as long as we get towards the end, so I will share 104 link. Okay, so currently 104 does not have a link, but Butty Cult, there is a link. You can go to all courses and then you can see Butty Cult. It was nice talking to you all, and I'll share a message, and if there are interested people, I am planning to, assuming I can prepare the PPTs and slides and all those things before afternoon or before evening, I will schedule a meeting by today night India time and tomorrow morning US time, so that we can cover more topics and move faster. So bye bye. And so because also I was in lockdown, and so things are getting normal, so I will also have more responsibilities at my new work. I have just joined a new company, a new role. So again, so to sustain this, the only way is I can guide, and I need more and more people from within you who can teach, okay, who can share knowledge. I can always guide, but I need more and more people from you. It will also help you grow as a better person, as a better public speaker. Okay, so see you all soon.